News!
Ooh, yeah.
That's that sound. That's
Oh, yeah.
that's sound something.
All right. Right.
What's up, man?
Welcome to What We Into.
What week 49?
I always start so hot. I'm always like, welcome to What We Into!
And then I'm always like, where's that energy later? I'm like, give me something.
Give me something.
Jeez.
Yeah, we have the exact opposite start. I start out with all the energy, and you're
And
like,
I'm like,
I'm Rob Robinson.
like up until this point in my life, I haven't spoken to any other human being. Like, I basically just woke up, had like the morning to myself. I honestly don't have to say a word until I walk into your apartment. I have to say nothing. I don't have to say good morning because it's New York. So nobody says good morning.
See, that's my kind of morning. That's also my kind of night. Like, there's this thing that happens, and I've learned that it's just me. You know what I mean? But there's this thing that happens where, like, I either wake up in the morning and everybody gets right into my face and like, hey, what's going on?
Hey, Daddy.
You need to know.
Hey, Dad. Can I have money for lunch today?
Honey.
Nice. Okay, yes.
Or I come home after a long night of work and my wife is, God bless her.
Will you rub my feet?
Yes, but so excited to see me that she will literally follow me around the apartment telling me this whatever story. I'm like, the apartment's not that big. You can stay on the couch. Like, I'll get up and go to the bathroom. I'll wash my hands, take out my clothes. I'll turn around, like, oh God, she's right there.
Yeah, I feel like you could alleviate some of that if you guys got a tiny dog, like a tiny annoying New York pocket dog, and some of that would be alleviated.
Oh, you think she's gonna talk to the dog?
Yeah, I absolutely think she's gonna talk to the dog.
What would our dog name be?
I don't know. I mean,
It'd be Karma.
Don't name your dog Karma. That's too much responsibility for a dog.
For a dog.
That's too much responsibility for a human, let alone a dog.
Turn up my mic here. Turn it up.
It's Channel 4 News at 6 o'clock.
Did you hear about that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have announced their decision to step back as senior royals?
I mean, it's technically... I'm only going to comment on it really quickly because it's in the wider sense of news that we're into. But are we really, as two podcasts,
No.
are we really into this?
No.
Did you watch the wedding of these motherfuckers? I had no interest at all about these two people and what they were getting into.
Nah.
I didn't give a fuck.
Yep.
I still don't give a fuck.
Yep.
I think it's kind of amazing. The internet shit that I've been reading about it has been brilliant.
Yep.
Like some of the stuff about the Prince Harry marries a black woman and she gets him to move out of his grandmother's house. I thought that was the best one.
That's good. That's a good one.
I thought that was the best one I'd ever heard. I was like, the internet is brilliant. But other than that, man, I don't give a fuck.
After many months of reflection and internal discussions, we have chosen to make a transition this year in starting to carve out a progressive new role within this institution. They said, we intend to step back as senior members of the royal family and work to become financially independent while continuing to fully support Her Majesty the Queen.
You know what? You know why though? You know why they're doing this, right?
I don't, but
you don't?
No.
It's as clear as a fucking bell.
Why?
Because they're racist as fuck.
Oh.
Since they've got the marriage of these two motherfuckers and Britain being Britain, it's racist. Like their treatment of this woman who is. She's royalty. She's a duchess now or some shit. Yeah. Like they have not stopped with the racist fuckery when they're addressing a fucking royal, a black royal.
God damn, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, that's exact, dude. Listen to what she says in the statement. We're stepping to do progressive. Why the fuck would she be adding progressive to some shit?
To carve out a progressive new role.
Right.
They're carving this out of this thing.
Out of this niche of fucking racist, fucking imperialist, fucking British bullshit. Man, come on.
They're like looking at a racist turkey. And they're like, well, I think I see one part in there that's not racist. Let's get the knife and let's carve that shit out.
I think one of the princesses of the realm or whatever had like this brooch at the bitch's wedding. At her wedding, she wore like the most racist thing that she could possibly wear to a black woman.
Which was what?
I don't even remember what it was. It was like a monkey face, like, you know, those with the red lips and the black.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Dude, why would I make this? Why would I come on our show and tell you some shit that wasn't that you couldn't Google in 3 seconds and be like,
you wear like a mammy button?
Basically, yeah.
Like a blackface,
like
minstrel button?
like a coon button, yeah.
Like a coon button?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's why they're leaving.
I hadn't even thought about that.
Who the fuck? Why would you go from being royalty to then suddenly we're gonna take a step back from being royalty? It's because of the racism, dog.
Well, the part that I liked was that they were like, and work to become financially independent while and I'm like, you are princes and princesses. You do not need to work for that.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have money, anybody will give you a job at whatever you want to do. So it's not work. It's we're going to just basically say we're not going to take those millions. We'll make our own millions because it's right there for us to take.
You might be right, player. You might be right. But needless to say...
No, I think you're right.
No.
I think you're 100% right about that racism.
Bro, it's... Dude, go and look at some of the coverage, like all the stuff, like how they cover her, how they talk about her in British media. Like, I think I was reading something where, like, when their baby was born, one British newspaper compared the baby to a chimpanzee. Like, fuckery, bro. Like, old school. And with their prime minister, who he is, and with Brexit, and with all the fucking dominoes that are like...
Boris Johnson, the British Donald Trump.
Dude, she's leaving because the racism is intolerable.
Wow.
I mean, I feel like if you ask any black British person, I feel like they were already hipped into this shit.
Yeah.
I'm only secondarily being like, oh no, that's racism.
And
because this is something I don't actually care about.
Right.
But just cluing into the linchpins, I'm like, oh yeah, that's definitely the racism. Yeah, fam. Absolutely.
Well, we got racism for the first one, and then we got body shaming for the second one.
Oh,
Did you hear about Lizzo?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Which I'm not that interested in, because it is just one woman saying, and what she says...
Yeah, but I don't like the woman who's saying it. Who is built like an empire. Like, she is a multi-millionaire. Jillian, I think her name is Jillian Michaels.
Jillian Michaels.
And she got famous... there was that show on the NBC. NBC used to do a bunch of bullshit back. Let's just be real. Mm-hmm. NBC has been the purveyor of some of the grossest, most ridiculous bullshit as far as television is concerned.
Sure.
In recent history.
Yeah.
That show, The Biggest Loser, is a shit show.
Yeah.
It had always been like even like the mindset behind like anyway. It was a successful show that NBC had, and she was one of the people on it. She was a trainer or like a fitness expert. She was basically one of the panel judges who would come on and help you get into shape while also shaming the shit out of you to your face and making you feel like shit for just, living the planet and liking Twinkies or whatever the fuck. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
So what she says is about Lizzo. She says, why are we celebrating her body?
Shit, really.
Why does it matter? Why aren't we celebrating her music? Because it isn't going to be awesome if she gets diabetes.
Which, I mean, you hear the ignorance in that statement, because what she's what she's saying is that if you're fat, you get diabetes.
Yep.
Which isn't there's no scientific link to fatness and diabetes being like hand in hand.
No.
There are precursors for it. There are things for it, but just because you're fat doesn't mean you have diabetes.
Right. So one of the skinniest dudes at our restaurant, who's a little bit older, I won't say his name.
And he has diabetes.
Yeah, he got diabetes, and he's super skinny.
Yep.
And basically, what they found was it was a poor nutrition and eating like pasta every single day, and that's kind of it.
Yeah,
he didn't even get it from eating like sugars. He got it from eating pasta.
See, so if you sit down and you listen to the interview, which I didn't. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna even.
No, I'm not gonna do that. Well, that's really why I brought this up, is because really, like, why is BuzzFeed sort of promoting this stuff?
It must be that Jillian has some new book or some new fitness routine to sell, because. I mean, it's the only and because Lizzo's the hottest thing on the planet right now.
They're taking
it's easy to just take. It's easy to grab a what do they call it, a soundbite of her saying some negative shit about Lizzo in the moment, and use that to sort of like bolster their own star.
Yeah, I mean, it's for social media engagement.
It's the Scorsese. We gotta coin this shit.
Yeah, it's the Scorsese. Let's just call it a Scorsese.
Or I think we gotta call it the Joaquin.
Yeah,
we gotta call it the Joaquin.
The Joaquinery.
The Joaquinery.
The Joaquinery of this. BuzzFeed's Joaquinery on this action.
Yeah.
Because they can really control what they choose to amplify or not. And so really, they got one comment from a person that really nobody cares, and we don't need in our feed.
We don't.
And it's sort of like what Dave Correa was talking about in our comments. It was hate bait, hate clickbait.
Yeah. Well, like we live in an outrage society, so like it's easy to glom on to like one aspect of a soundbite and amplify that aspect of it to solidify or prop up your bullshit opinion or
Sure.
whatever.
Like, why say anything?
Why at all? Why even comment about her? She's not out there like telling skinny bitches don't be skinny and all that shit. She's just saying love yourself.
Yeah.
She's like, I love this. I spent a long time hating myself based on these standards that society kind of places on. Lizzo is saying this. And she's basically one of the proponents of being like, yo, fuck all that.
Yeah.
I look good the way I look. And there's some motherfuckers that like this shit. And real talk, that's what it is.
Right. And in no way is that in contrast to saying, like, she's not saying, I think I'm 100%, 100% perfect,
this is the way
and everybody should be exactly like me.
Right.
She's also not saying, I don't work it to make myself even better. Because, of course, everybody does.
Right.
And she's like a major star. You know, she does lots of things to, to accent her
beauty
beauty and heighten her beauty.
Literally just in Australia,
handing out like water bottles
and
to like
to koalas and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, girl, ain't you got a tour to be on?
Look out for that chlamydia.
I hope you got your shots, homie.
Yeah. Well, so it's really I brought it up because it's a bigger comment about the shit that goes on with the news these days.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean,
we brought it up too, but really we brought it up to say like this
it's
is
in
bullshit.
The news section. Oh, by the way, this is the news. Wait, good middle part. That was good middle.
Yeah.
Well done.
I can get the middles.
I see you've been working it.
You can see that I can get the beginnings of songs, sometimes the middles. What are you looking like?
I thought your cup was leaking for us.
Oh, no.
It looked like there was a drip.
A drip. But it's the endings. So maybe I'll give it one more shot here. Toke a blunt with your casters, oh stone listeners, nay.
Bravo, motherfucker. Bravo.
What do you got?
I got a little bit of what's coming to Netflix in January.
Ooh,
it
tell
is
me.
a fucking list, bro.
Yeah?
Yeah. Not a lot of original content for the most part, but I mean, there's been a dearth of shit that Netflix has thrown on the site since January 1st.
Okay.
Here's just some of the big ones, and I've actually sat down and watched a good portion of them. Dragonheart, A New Beginning, Dragonheart 3, The Sorcerer, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Ghost Rider, Free Willy, Kill Bill Volume 1, Kill Bill Volume 2, Kiss the Girls, Monster-in-Law, Pan's Labyrinth, The Naked Gun 1 and 2.5, The Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. I sat down and watched. Ninja Turtles 1, Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze,
Jones.
Wild Wild West, Tremors, all of the Tremors movies.
How many are there?
5.
Holy shit.
5 Tremors movies. And
people got houses because of that franchise.
Kevin Bacon is in a few of them motherfuckers. I just want you to know.
Is he in more than one?
I think he's in at least 2.
Okay.
I think he's in either the first and the second or the first and the third. But I feel like I haven't sat down and watched the Tremors movies, all of them yet. Yeah. I did see a couple of them though this week.
Did you hear about the PlayStation 5 rumors?
I did. There's a logo. We already they showed you the logo at CES already.
CES.
Yes. Or excuse me, not CES, which is the
Consumer Electronics something
Symposium.
I think it's literally something. They're like nobody knows.
Computer
electronics something.
Zatarans.
Summonays.
Salmonella.
Sasquatch.
But yeah, and that was only on day one. All the things I was naming was just from January 1st. There have been a ton of others since.
Oh, right, yeah, sorry. I thought
No. I mean, I literally was just giving you a little bit of it. But that's just these are the things I was naming were all from the 1st of January. There have subsequently been a ton more stuff, and will be a ton more stuff through the end of the month. Man, they're giving you a bunch of stuff, but a lot of the original content is coming the latter half of the month. So like you get like your BoJack Horseman's. It's
the final season for that, I think.
Yeah,
right?
Season 6 is coming. I think you get it. I think you get it the last day. You get it the 31st.
31st. Okay. Yeah. So also PlayStation 5. It's rumored to be backward compatible, not just with PS3, but also 4, 2, and 1.
And 1.
I don't know why I started with 3.
Yeah, I was like, why didn't you just say 1, 2, 3?
It's not only going to be compatible with PS2, but also the Sega Genesis Master System. Yeah, which is actually I'm excited about. I like it when consoles do that. I like playing old games.
If you're not I think you're doing yourself a disservice if you're not making your systems backwards compatible.
I agree,
because there are a ton of motherfuckers like you and me who have kept either games or memory cards or what have you from previous systems, and would love at some point to go back and just revisit the nostalgia, revisit the joy of that Metal Gear Solid save on the PS whatever the fuck, you know what I'm saying?
It also helps keeps I mean, it's a literal way to keep old games alive. We talk about art conservation. We don't really talk about video games that often. But a lot of these old games from Nintendo and some of the earlier systems, especially the lesser known systems like Sega Dreamcast, those games really you can only play on those systems or through an emulator on your PC.
Right.
And it's sad because we're losing a lot of that history, and this art medium deserves
history and art and people's time in it. I mean, it really is sort of comparable to making a movie. The amount of time and people that it requires to do a level in a video game. You know what I'm saying? It in my opinion is the kind of art form of the future that because it's evolved. It's the one that has evolved so quickly over. Since its inception, video games have started at this, rudimentary, almost fire, man early getting fire kind of stage, and has quickly jumped into the space age with the technology and where we're at.
Yeah.
So just in that in and of itself, I'm looking forward to seeing where the medium will go and how it will kind of progress. We already know that it has something to do with haptics and immersion and VR.
It's throttle control and third.
It's I think it has something to do with how that new PlayStation 5 controller is lining up with the haptic sensitive triggers and things like that. That's where this industry is really gonna be fun to watch in the coming years.
The way that the controllers...
Well, no, just the way that the technology is sort of sourcing up to another huge leap. Yeah. I feel like the video game industry has been evolving in these huge leaps. We went from the single rolly mouse controls to a rolling track to a stick.
You're talking about the Atari stick, with the one button.
Yeah, to
nobody could fathom the idea that we could use two buttons.
Just that in the last decade with what Nintendo has done with the Switch and with the Wii, the innovation that I feel like this industry will see in the coming years is going to be the one to watch.
Yeah. What if so if it's back, you get your PlayStation 5, you can finally put your PS4 to rest because you can still play all those games on it. Would you go back and seek out any of the PS1, PS2, PS3 games to play?
I think I would. Yeah. I think I would.
Suddenly, all those flea markets and all those little games that you see on the side of the road that nobody wants
to stop and a rummage.
Oh, it's just Madden.
Right.
It's just Madden 2001.
I think there is. I feel like there's a couple. There was a vampire game that I really loved from. I think it was a PS2.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the name of it, but. It had some of this really good vampire lore storytelling where
bring out your dad.
I was gonna say, you live in a Spanish villa.
We are recording in Spain right now. He's selling shishito peppers out there. Shishito peppers. Pop them in your mouth, just like French fries.
But yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I still have a bunch of PS1 and PS2 games.
Do you?
Actually,
and why do you still have those? You don't.
I
have
just never threw them out. I got rid of the cases, but I threw them in one of those CD books. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of them are strategy tactical games in the vein of Final Fantasy Tactics that at the time were hard to find. It was when I first moved to New York, and I kept seeing them in the dollar bin for whatever, $2. I was like, I'll take that. And then I was like, well, I should probably keep this because 5-10 years ago, once the system moved on, you were unlikely to ever go back to it.
That's true. That's true. But with the invention of emulators and people started to sort of bring that back to. I mean, I still right now I have a Atari 1600 sitting at the house with probably something 20, 25 games.
Oh yeah! Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does it work?
I think it does. Yeah. I mean, the last time I plugged it into a TV that had those red, yellow, white connectors. It did. Yeah. But 10, 15 years ago? Yeah. So 10, 15 years ago, it worked like gangbusters.
I bet the TVs at CES don't even have those analog.
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
anymore.
you have you
just buy an adapter.
Yeah, it's an adapter, but still, like, I don't know. There's something about I can't bring myself to get rid of any of that stuff.
Yeah. Well, the girls are right now. They're playing Link's Awakening that I got for Christmas. I've been playing it too, but it's kind of taking a back step to Jedi Fallen Order. But they really like it, and I'm like, hey, we also on the Switch. It was part of. I think if you subscribe to Amazon Prime, you got a free Switch, whatever their store is, for a year. So we have a free subscription to that, and they have like Link's
to the Past.
Link to the Past, yes, or whatever. What was the first game?
I thought it was Link's Awakening was the first one, and then Link to the Past was sort of the sequel.
Link's Awakening was on Game Boy, so it was in black and white originally. Right. And A Link to the Past, I think, is Super NES.
Yes,
but it's just as good.
Yes.
I mean, or if not better.
I mean, so arguably better. Yeah. Arguably better.
So definitely that old man that's like, if you like this game, kids, you're gonna love this other one from when I was a child.
It's also very telling, though, that like you kept 2 Zelda games as opposed to. Like I don't know. Like I feel like
I have a bunch of Wii games too.
Oh
yeah.
And I don't have any. I think I kept. It was Grand Theft Auto 5,
right?
Because it was the last game on the of that console. It was the last game of the PS3's generation before they ported it. Like it came out on the PS3, and then PS4 came out, and then they released the PS. You could get like Grand Theft Auto 5 with your PS4 bundle. You could get like a PS4 bundle.
I got that. That's what I got. Yeah.
But
so it for PS3.
But it was really Grand Theft Auto 5 was really a PS3 game. Yes. They had made it for the PS3. Yeah. So what happened?
That first person perspective, which you thought was going to be amazing, and then you tried to use it, and it was like
I was like, I like it better seeing him. I like being able to
actually harder somehow.
Yeah. But yeah.
Saved by the Bell reboot
really
is going to feature a transgender teen in the lead role. Yeah,
in the lead role,
in the Zach Morris role.
No shit,
Josie Tota.
Okay, that's what's up.
Whose credits include Disney Channel's Jessie. I can't even say that. I can't even say Jessie without like. There's Jessie. You don't have kids, so you don't watch Jessie.
Yeah, no. See, and I was thinking, you mean Jessie from like Jessie Spano from Saved by the Bell?
No.
Who Elizabeth?
No.
What's her face? Berkeley?
No, man. You gotta. Jessie's like I don't even know Jessie's last name, but I just know her from the Disney show, and it's pretty awesome.
Okay.
AC Slater and Jessie Spano are going to revive their roles.
Like AC Slater and Elizabeth Berkley are coming back.
Mario Lopez and Elizabeth Berkley. Yeah, exactly. Sorry, see, to me, they're just Jessie Spano and AC Slater.
You didn't love them like I did. I love those motherfuckers. See,
no, I did too. I was a huge Saved by the Bell fan.
That's why I know their character names and barely. Well, I also know Elizabeth Hurley from, and we've talked about this on the podcast.
Yes.
Showgirls.
Showgirls. Yes.
Greatest.
Did you watch it again? I just like to talk about Showgirls again this week
because it's so good. It's such a good movie. You guys shouldn't hate on it so much.
Guess who is going to be the California governor and who's playing basically the Arnold Schwarzenegger role?
Wait, what? In Saved by the Bell?
In the new Saved by the Bell reboot.
What?
There's only one person who would possibly be the governor of California in this future version of Saved by the Bell.
Terry Crews?
No, Zach Morris.
Wait, so he's coming back too?
Yes.
So like
Mark Paul Gosselaar.
That's like more than that's a third of the cast coming back to reprise roles for this. Wow, I don't know how to feel about that. I feel like, well, I'm surprised that Mario's coming back for it because I feel like of that cast of motherfuckers, Mario probably landed the best, like gigs. Like he's the one who worked the most consistently and looks. I feel like still looks the best out of all of them.
Does he? I thought Mario Lopez looked pretty much the same.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. Like he landed pretty well because he just started like hosting and being like a personality. Like,
are you talking about Mark Paul Gosselaar? Or are you talking about Mario Lopez? Oh yes, okay.
Talking about Mario Lopez.
Got it.
I'm surprised that he's even like
that he's back.
Back, yeah. Like of those people, he did the best. Like he was the one who worked the most consistently, and I think would have banked the most bread at this point. Everybody else had like ebb and flows, and
they had some stuff.
They had some stuff. They did things, but I mean, maybe except for Screech.
Yeah, except for Screech.
Not that much life for a
I wonder
nerd.
why.
Well, like you get typecast as the nerd character. I don't see you coming out of that and being leading man.
There's like a nerd character in every superhero
yeah,
movie.
but how many of those motherfuckers end up being leading men? Like you
I
start. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
I get it.
I think his trajectory was like play a nerd, sex tape.
Yes, and they were like
sex
Whoa.
tape. Oh God, sex tape.
God,
Jesus Christ, how many of these can you do before like we can continue to hire you for our projects? The family ones,
right?
Yeah.
So the new series explores what happens when California Governor Zach Morris closes many of the state's low-income schools and reassigns affected students to higher-performing schools, including Bayside High. My question, though, great, they're going to the Zach Morris character of this new Saved by the Bell show is going to be transgender. My question, though, are they going to be examining transgender issues at all? Or is she just playing
a pandering lightning rod for
exactly?
You know what? I think they're smart enough to know that if they don't use this opportunity to sort of not autocorrect, but redirect the conversation about social things, because I feel like what Saved by the Bell did is it did at the time when it was on, it focused on like problems with teens at that time, things that mostly cis hetero teens were going through at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're going to use this moment to take a stand and use a transgender actor or use a transgender character as the linchpin of your series, then you damn well better have some issues that revolve around that person.
I agree.
You better damn well. I think it'd be idiotic for them to even approach this without it.
Right.
So I don't think they're that dumb. I don't think they're that dumb is what I will say.
Okay.
So I don't think there's a need to worry about it until we actually get a final project.
Yeah. Part of me also wants a version of this where we have a transgender lead and a transgender character, and it really just doesn't come up. It's just like they're just a normal character.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But then another part of me also really believes that like it would be really interesting to see a Saved by the Bell comedy sitcom format addressing transgender issues, not for adults, not for me and you, but for
because that's not who they
9 to 15-year-olds.
Yeah, that's not who they made it for.
Because when the show came out in 89 to 93, we were 9 years old and ended around the time that we were becoming kind of preteens.
Right.
So it was like right there perfect for our age.
To pick up and be like, huh.
I'd just like to time out here for a moment.
Okay. What are we timing out?
That's what Zach Morris used to do.
Oh, right.
Time out.
Guys.
Yeah.
You know what? To be honest, when I was watching that show, Zach Morris was my least favorite character on that show. I didn't like Zach Morris.
Yeah.
I thought he got away with so much shit. I don't know. Maybe it was my like evolution of being woke. I was like, I didn't like that he got to just step out of time and fuck with things and be a complete asshole, and then say he was sorry. And
why does only the blonde-haired, blue-eyed white guy get that?
Like it didn't. Like I don't know why. For me, it started to affect me the way.
Sure.
Like I just never resonated with Zach. I always kind of was like either with Screech or my man Mario.
Yeah. It was an innocent age.
It was.
It was an age where you could do that and not have any like.
There was no
thought
thing
of
about
like,
it. Yeah, I mean, look at what you said. 7 and what were we? 7 and 8.
7 and 8.
And then like preteens, but like I wasn't thinking about like the racial complications of like
how privileged
it seemed to be to
Zach
me.
Morris.
You know, I wasn't thinking about the fact that Lisa Turtle was the only black representation on that in that entire cast of motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Well, you had your boy Mario, but I mean, for all intents and purposes, he could pass.
If I was going to segue back into this again, I'd be like, "Are you excited?" And you'd be like, "Are you so excited? Are you so scared,
I'm
Rob?"
So excited!
We can't get out of this without bringing it up. Come on. I'm so scared, Zach.
But you know what? Let's transition out of Saved by the Bell, because I mean,
we'll come back.
Get there.
We're coming back. Don't worry.
We will not be saved by that.
Can I help you?
Why, yes, you can. I'm here to report a terrible crime.
And what terrible crime is that?
This one.
Ah, shit. I told this all wrong. Quick history lesson.
But I did actually. There was a little bit of excitement for me this week in watching the new trailer for
Harley
Birds
Quinn?
of Prey. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Birds of Prey. Yeah. The emancipation of Harley Quinn. Is that the full
Emancipation of one something.
But I saw it was the first time since the announcement of that movie, since seeing anything about it, that I was genuinely excited to see what they could do with it.
Yes.
And I don't know. I mean, it's interesting that all it required was them to edit some of the same shit that I've already seen differently.
Sure.
Because
that helps.
I feel like that's essentially what happened. Like they've given us very little new stuff in this new trailer, but it was just enough that I was like, yeah, that seems cool. And this is the only thing I'll say. This is what I'll say about it. Then you can talk a little bit.
Please.
I wasn't as excited about this initially because I felt like a lot of it was kind of in that vein of pandering to an audience. Without really kind of the measured story to back it. Like, here's an all-female superhero movie that we're going to market because we know that we need this.
Right.
We need this kind of demographic to sort of go in going forward based on, DC and really not having any world built. So we're gonna pander to the lowest common denominator just to kind of fill the coffers a little bit.
Yeah.
But this new trailer gave me enough, just enough of the right story elements. And, like, I actually watched it with the sound off, so I have no idea what those people's relationships together are.
Well, you know what you missed? You missed It's Oh So Quiet. The Bjork song. It's so...
This all started when the Joker and I broke up. It was completely mutual.
And it actually doesn't fit the trailer very well.
Oh, really?
And if you're somebody like me who grew up with that song and loves that song and loves that whole album by Bjork, it feels a little out of place. So it might have been better that you watched it without the sound.
I watched it on mute, and I was like, oh, this looks awesome.
Yeah, this has a lot of things going for it. It's rated R.
Yes. It's got Rosie Perez in it. I love
Rosie Perez.
I love anything with Rosie Perez in it. I don't give
too.
a fuck. I don't give a fuck. And I feel like with Rosie Perez in it, you're on the right track because she doesn't do bullshit. In all the years you've seen Rosie Perez do stuff, you can't name one role or one movie or one thing that she's been in where you're like, ugh, I didn't like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's got a female director, too, Kathy Yan. We talked about her last week. She hasn't really done a lot before this, so this is a big project for her, so hopefully she'll swing hard and hit it out of the park.
I think it's coming next month, right? February, right?
It's written by Christina Hodson, who wrote Bumblebee.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
and Bumblebee's
like Bumblebee.
It's a pretty competent script for the most part.
We like Bumblebee. I remember
considering all the shit that all the Transformer movies that came
it was
before it.
I think we both, when we reviewed it on the podcast weeks ago, and we both liked it. It surprised us. I think it was our initial. We were like, exactly what you said, having what came before it, to have this sort of movie be almost a jumping off point if they wanted to do a new Transformers property. They could.
This should have been. It's literally maybe
the
best Transformers movie ever.
I'd say arguably the best Transformers movie. Because in my opinion, Transformers 1 was the best.
Yeah.
And this one I felt like should have been what Transformers 1 was.
I might have liked this better because it's had more heart, I think, than the first Transformers.
I only put the first one above the Bumblebee because for me, like, knowing that they had been wanting to make that first Transformers movie since the cartoon era, since those cartoons were on TV, there was something about the having come to fruition all those years later, and me sitting in the theater watching which ostensibly was like a very long episode of a Transformers cartoon from the 80s.
Yeah,
that for me kind of elevates it past Bumblebee because of those. It's nostalgia.
It was the Force Awakens of Transformer movies where we went, not perfect, but good, and gets us thinking.
Yes.
As long as you come out with a better movie for the next one, we're on board. And actually, the next movie was the worst one.
They subsequently got worse.
So February 7th for Birds of Prey. You gonna go see it with me?
Yeah, I think at this point I'm more on board than I have been in the you've asked me about this on the podcast before quite a bit, and I've just been like, there's not enough for me to get excited about. I think we should wait, blah blah blah. But I think in this, at least in this most recent re-editing of the trailer. Mm-hmm. I'm excited for it to see it now.
I'm not excited about director Scott Derrickson has departed the Doctor Strange sequel.
Yeah, I saw this. I read this. But why? You got to tell us. Tell motherfuckers why.
Oh, it's the old boring creative differences.
What do you think it really is? Do you think it's creative differences? Because I feel like at this point it's got to be.
I'm breathing into the mic. I'm exhaling into the mic. I don't know, Rob.
Is that? Oh, that's you being me. Speculating?
No, I'm just being me. There's sometimes where I'm editing the podcast. I'm like, oh, there's me
not responding,
but exhaling. I don't know. It could be a lot of different things. Scott Derrickson is primarily a horror movie director, and they said that this movie was going to sort of
kind of scary,
be Marvel's first horror movie.
Right.
He was
no, it can't be Marvel's first horror movie because we're getting New Mutants. We talked about last week, which is literally a Marvel. It looks like they're in a horror movie set, but with mutants.
I think they meant real Marvel, not Sony and Fox Marvel.
Oh, that's mad disrespectful.
I went back and watched that trailer for the new Mutants trailer, and it was okay. I don't know. I'm not not excited by it.
I'm intrigued. I'm not excited. I'm just the trope of that kind of like the Scream era kind of horror trope genre done with a mutant bent, with a Marvel bent to it. I feel like has it's basically like if a bunch of mutant teens got trapped in a horror house, how would they, or like some supernatural thing, how would they go about, with powers, basically, like Scream with powers.
Yeah.
I think just that's intriguing enough to be, like I said, intriguing.
This is really early in the process because Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness doesn't even come out until May 7th, 2021.
Yeah.
So they're really ahead of the game here. It must have been,
but they're shooting, right? It's in production.
It's not. The departure is not expected to delay the start of shooting in May of this year.
Okay.
So they're in script land right now. So this sounds like a script issue to me. It sounds like he had some ideas of where he wanted it to go, most likely, and they said no, we don't want it to go that direction. And he said, well, then I'm out. Peace.
Interesting.
Could be lots of things, but that's
okay. Well, I mean, I don't want to speculate too much because we could be here all day. It's just interesting that this is the one to get the hiccup now.
Yeah. You want to comment? Let's read one random comment down here. I would not describe Doctor Strange as a visionary movie. This is the first one, but it had more personality than your average Marvel movie. Derrickson did a nice job, enough of fussing the superhero formula to the structure and themes of a martial arts movie, and he gave performers like Mads Mikkelsen and Tilda Swinton room to overturn scenes with their knowing performances. Yeah, I mean, I like the first Marvel.
It wasn't a reinvention of the wheel. It was basically a really kind of bland origin story. I think where it took a little elevation was the visual aspect of it. Sort of, it's Marvel's first foray into magic.
Right.
And when you're dealing with live action magic, that can be hard to represent and hard to sort of like convey the gravity of it. And I think for that they achieved very well.
Yeah.
It surprised me actually because when they had announced that they were doing a Doctor Doom, and then when it came out, I wasn't as thrilled about it. Like, as having read Doctor Doom growing up, like, he really only kind of shines in like the 70s when he kind of initially came out, because some of those 70s panels from Doctor Doom dealt with like him traversing worlds and stuff. So like these panels were crazy.
Yeah.
They were psychedelic.
Well, Noah Hawley is supposed to have the Doctor Doom script done.
Oh, really?
Already. He's the guy who does Fargo. And if and I highly recommend watch Fargo.
Fourth season's
great.
coming. I haven't started, but I'm
you can pick up. They're not
gearing up for it.
They're mildly connected. I think they come connected in the third season, but you can start with any season of Fargo. Same with Legion. It's fantastic. So the idea that this guy has a finished Doctor Doom script and he's just waiting for Marvel to say, "Yeah, let's make it," makes me really excited.
I could get down for a Doctor Doom script.
Could you get down for a long-awaited Flash movie, if it's based on Flashpoint?
Yes, absolutely. If it's based on that particular DC story arc, yes, absolutely.
Now, Ezra Miller, who plays the Flash,
is he coming back for it?
Yeah, in fact, I think
he got shortchanged.
Yeah, he definitely got shortchanged, but I think he also really pushed hard for this. I think he did
he
rewrites
wanted-
to the script,
Really?
or
Good for
actually
him.
hired people off his own money to
Good for
write
him.
scripts and really pushed for it.
Good for him,
And was
'cause
very active.
The Flash is a lot of people's favorite characters from DC world, and I honestly see why he is the heart of what the Justice League is. Like, Justice League. Everybody knows the Justice League. They know, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
But like the person who's the heart of that team, like the one who's like you want to be his friend because he is the nicest. He is the guy. Is the Flash. The Flash is the Flashpoint is one of the better storylines from that era. What happens when Flash gets written out of history and things like that, or what happens when Flash changes history and the subsequent domino effects that happen in his life. But the Doomsday story, and I spoke about the Doomsday, finishing the Doomsday Clock run, the DC
last episode.
DC just finished
for Watchmen.
For the Watchmen.
Yeah.
And it's some of the more interesting writing that they've had because Dr. Manhattan had done all these changes to the world, and it permeated a lot of the DC books. One of the more prominent ones being the Flash. Kid Flash gets written out of existence, and everybody around him forgets about him. And as he's sort of like trying to fight this erasure from time, he goes to Barry Allen. He starts popping up in all these people's lives that are important to him. Like he goes to his girlfriend or his wife, and she doesn't remember him. He goes to his.
That's what happens.
Yeah, she's like, "Who are you?" And she freaks out, and he gets thrown back into the well of time. And he goes to Barry, like after having visited all these different people, he goes to Batman at one point, and Batman's like, "What the fuck? Who are you? Why is this?" And Batman doesn't recognize him. And then the final person that he goes to visit before he's eventually being like ripped apart through this process is Barry Allen, the Flash. And in the last moment before he like disintegrates, because even Flash initially doesn't remember him. He's like, I don't like right before he disintegrates, the Flash's memory comes online and he remembers who Kid Flash is, and he pulls him back into reality. Like, and I remember those panels so well. Like because each panel you see Kid Flash sort of disintegrating a little bit, and then the last panel you see the cut of Barry's eye and the recognition in it, and then that expression, and then the very last panel is him reaching basically into time, and pulling Kid Flash back into this reality.
Sounds good.
It's one of the best reads in a comic book in recent years. I was like, holy shit! And all of that was affected by Dr. Manhattan.
Oh, really?
All of like him, like everybody forgetting
from the Watchmen.
Yes, and that's what the Doomsday Clock just kind of finished. You finish out Doomsday Clock, and you realize all these events that had been happening in the DC universe over the course of this year and the last few years of them writing DC books. Because everything has been affected. There's been all these things permeating the world. People know that there's something different about the world and wrong about it, but they can't figure out why. But some people know, and it turns out it's Dr. Manhattan. But you don't find all of that out until Doomsday Clock just finished.
And see, this is what DC should, and I hope that they are doing, is just make a bunch of good movies, and then when you get about 10 years down the line, be like, okay, what can we tie together?
Well, one of the last things... Oh, it's so dope. All right, if you haven't read this property, go and read it, Doomsday Clock. One of the last things is that he does, after he meets Clark and after he has this...
Clark's like, hey,
get over that shit.
Get over that girl.
Get over that trauma.
Okay.
He basically goes, okay, and he goes back into the universe and he creates a being like Superman and uses basically Dr. Manhattan imbues... Like, because remember, he left a world that had been decimated by Adrian Veidt, Ozymandias.
He doesn't have a Superman in his world, in his timeline.
So he goes and does this experiment in Superman's universe and then creates one literally after the event, like right after the squid has decimated the world.
Yeah.
Dr. Manhattan, because he plays through time so he basically comes back into his world with a being that he has taken from another world.
That's why I was talking about stealing the baby last episode, and you were like, "What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
Doesn't he basically take a baby to make the Superman?
Yeah, he steals a baby, and
that's what I said.
And he has
a symbol on his head. Yeah,
yeah, like he does in the series.
Yeah, I had heard about this. I listened.
Oh, so you had? Okay, well, I hadn't finished the book yet.
Oh,
so I just finished the book.
Understood.
And so now I'm
Dr. Manhattan, baby stealer.
Yeah, but it's the baby of a criminal couple. Who
criminals got rights?
Yeah, no, but like
actually, no, they don't. That's the whole point.
in the initial meeting of these criminals, he was going to murder them, and he doesn't because he sees in the future. He sees in the future that this couple's baby will have this will affect the life of this woman that he cares about in the future, but he can't see why or how the baby gets into their lives. Come to find out that it was him. He couldn't see himself take the baby in the future because that's what happens. He's like, there's this point in the future where I can't see. But he saves them. He saves this woman that he was gonna like turn into goo.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I don't know why I did that. Then come to find out after the events of Doomsday Clock that he was the one who had taken their baby to give it to this other couple, to make a Superman for his world later on. It's gnarly writing, but it's like it's the way that Marvel had been writing these the MCU kind of interconnected and woven through all these different properties. That's the kind of writing that DC has been doing in their books.
Yeah, but
they're not translating them to their movies
because they tried to rush everything.
Yeah.
On the Marvel side of things, Christian Bale could be playing somebody in Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah, I saw this. I saw like there was a finalization of him added to the cast, but they don't know who he's going to be in it or whatever.
I didn't hear that it was finalized, but yeah, they don't know who he is, but they're talking about bringing him in. He could be Beta Ray Bill. Yeah. Put a bunch of prosthetics on and make him look like a goat face. That would be cool. Christian Bale kind of looks like a goat face, right? He could be Dario Agger, the Minotaur.
Yeah, I don't know.
Cole Borson, the brother of Odin.
While I'm down with Christian Bale joining the MCU, I don't know if it's like great.
What about Thor's half brother, Balder the Braver?
If it's a cohesive, cogent story, Balder is cool, but he's no Thor.
Okay, how about Ares?
Ares is dope. Ares is he has a good book in the Marvel universe.
God of War.
Yeah. Well.
So he could be a lot. I mean, Christian Bale I could see him fitting in this world. He's not as comedically campy as Taika Waititi or funny sad as that, but like I could see him fitting in this.
Okay.
I got one more Marvel thing.
Okay.
There's rumors that they may have gained full control over the Hulk and
property.
Namor,
yeah,
right?
Wait, and Namor?
And Namor, yeah.
Okay.
Because both those characters, for whatever reason, were tied up in acquisitions, or tied up with Fox, basically.
Okay.
The rights were, which is why we never got our own like Incredible Hulk movie beyond what the Edward Norton one,
yeah.
And that was made with Fox back in the day.
That makes sense because old boy shows up. The guy who plays Ross, he shows up in the MCU after that.
Right. Yeah, because that character, I presume, Marvel and Disney have the rights to. But whatever, back in the day, they sold the rights to these characters. And so they've allowed them to be in these movies the same way that they've allowed Spider-Man to make Far From Home and yada, yada, yada. Yeah. But the quote comes from MCU Cosmic, and it says, "I've heard from someone very reliable that Marvel has gained full control of Hulk and Namor, so those pesky distribution hurdles no longer exist." They've been kind of teasing Namor. They did it in Endgame. Remember, there's an earthquake, and it's off the coast of Wakanda.
And what do we do about it? It's an earthquake under the ocean.
Right.
You just let it be.
Right, but anything in the ocean is presumably under the control of Namor.
Yeah, but I mean, if they haven't at that point, and this is the end. This is Avengers End, the last movie in the just the bookend.
Yeah,
they have no talks about any of that shit. So like, is it a tease if you haven't? I mean, it could if you're speculating, it could be an Easter egg to fans. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, well, that's their hint to Namor. But like, if you haven't at any in the 22 movie cycle introduced anything to do with it, it's for me, it doesn't serve.
What, Namor?
Yeah.
Well, they have to come up with new things for these next phases. They can't just keep going back to old.
That's my point. Like,
he'll start as a villain.
Is it really a tease? Is it really? All I'm saying is I don't know if it's really a tease to say what. Like, I don't feel like they teased Namor at all in any portion of the MCU, which they could have.
Yeah.
But I'm interested in the fact that they're talking about bringing him back. Like now, like.
Because Strange, Hulk, and Namor were the original Defenders team, right? The founding members, if I know that correctly. And it's right here in front of me, so I do.
Right.
I'm reading it.
And also, Namor was part of one of the better storylines from recent Marvel was the Secret Invasion. He was a part of the Illuminati the Illuminati were basically a cabal, a brain cabal of Tony Stark, Mr. Fantastic, Doctor Strange, Black Bolt, and Namor. Mm-hmm. They were, basically making decisions that affected the superhero community at large, but in secret.
Right. And Kevin Feige just had talks with Mark Ruffalo and asked him to pitch ideas for the Hulk.
That could be one of them, because they were the guys who were responsible for. I think I lent you this run, Worldbreaker, Hulk Worldbreaker.
Yes, I have it right over here behind me.
I think I actually have it at the house.
Did I give it back to you?
Yeah,
probably.
I think you did. But they were the ones responsible for it, because they were the ones who shot Hulk into space, and the events of Thor Ragnarok, where Thor crash lands on this planet Scar and becomes like all that stuff that happens in that movie. That's basically the events of Worldbreaker. Mm-hmm. But instead of Hulk's doing it to himself, where he escapes on a Quinjet that gets lost in space, I guess.
Okay.
Those people who are named in this cabal get together and decide that Hulk is too dangerous to allow to stay on the planet, and they shoot him into space. Basically, they're like, "Good luck."
Peace.
Put him on and then something happens where it gets blown off course. He crash lands on this planet where he can be killed and injured and thrown into the gladiatorial pits.
It's kind of what Thor Ragnarok was. They were kind of pulling from that.
That's what I'm saying.
And that's my favorite part about Thor. Like, I like Thor Ragnarok a lot. It's one of my favorite Marvel movies. But when he's in that arena, in that gladiator pit with Hulk and and Jeff Goldblum, that's the best stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, show me more of that stuff, please. So there's been a lot of growing rumors that the new Star Trek movies or trilogy or whatever are going to be taking place in the High Republic era. And there's not a lot of history that's known about it, but there are some things. I'm pulling this from Screen Rant because I didn't really want to do the research on this, so I'm just going to read what they say they know about the High Republic era. So they say, precious little is known about the High Republic era in Star Wars canon, and what is known tends to focus on the Jedi. This is within the lifetime of Master Yoda, who would pass away age 900 in Return of the Jedi. It's unknown how influential he was among the Jedi of this era, but it's possible Yoda already sat on the Jedi Council. It's also reasonable to assume Yaddle, the female Yoda, was active as well, but again, there's no information on whether or not Yaddle sat on the Jedi Council at this time. The Mandalorian has revealed that Yoda and Yaddle species don't age at the same rate as normal beings, yada yada yada. The Jedi generally believe that the Sith were extinct, but during the High Republic era, they don't appear to have been complacent about it. According to Cavan Scott's audiobook Dooku, Jedi Loss, some Jedi in the High Republic era became fascinated by the dark side of the Force, tending to view it as a historical curiosity, and as a result, getting in over their heads. Apprentice Claude Terradine, for example, traveled the galaxy and put together a collection of dangerous and ancient Sith artifacts. He fell under the influence of the dark side and was expelled from the Jedi Order. His collection was hidden away in the depths of the Jedi Temple.
So all that to say, what does all that mean?
Well, so if the new Star Wars movies are taking place 400 years prior to this, they're giving you an idea of what was happening at this time with the Jedi. They had said that in, I think it's either Revenge of the...
Which property is this?
Star Wars.
Yeah, but which part of is it game, movie...
Oh, this is
series.
This is the movies. These are the next movies that they're talking about making.
Oh, so they already know that they're going to be making new.
They're just talking about someone somewhere had the rumor was that they announced that we're going to make the next set of movies happen.
They actually have it
400 years prior to the Skywalker saga.
This is all speculation. No one actually has this information. This is you're talking about speculative.
This is rumors.
Theory.
Yeah, speculative rumors.
Okay. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But I think I like this idea that, because they talk about it, I think, in Phantom Menace, how the Jedi ruled for a millennia, and they believe that the Sith were extinct, right? So I really enjoy the idea that there's all these Jedi going out there and exploring what the Sith were and those sort of powers. We kind of lose it in the sequel series, the idea of how the dark side can kind of corrupt and pull you into it. And a lot of these Jedis and stuff that, material that's no longer canon, they explore these areas and then kind of accidentally fall into the dark side.
Okay.
Could be interesting.
All right.
Give yourself a quick break here and Google Yoda with human skin.
No. That's some shit you can't unsee, bro. That's
exactly right.
No, that's some shit you can't
That's
unsee.
exactly what it says.
No, I'm seeing it in my brain, and I'm like, oh no, I don't want that.
It is frightening.
Wait, white people's skin, or like, can it be any? Is it like brown people's skin? Because I feel like Yoda with brown people's skin is comparable, but like pale ass pink baby skinned Yoda. I don't think that's a good look.
Like if you take his ears away, he looks like he could be a human. Like, anything with two legs, two arms, a face, and eyes is a fucking humanoid. Oh my god, it's
nightmare flu.
You're right. You cannot unsee it.
No, Yoda. You can do that shit.
Yoda with human skin. And finally, I think my last piece of news. There's rumored to be a 192-minute J.J. Abrams Rise of Skywalker cut, and it's apparently the rumor is that it's coming to us in an Avengers Endgame style.
We want that?
But listen, hold on. It's supposed to be exactly. That's the question. But it's supposed to be coming again. They're going to maybe potentially re-release it in the way that they did Endgame. Remember when Endgame was kind of like, a couple million or I don't know, 25 million behind Avatar, and they really wanted that, biggest movie of all time, so they re-released it after a month of it already being out in theaters.
I remember the re-release.
And it had some extra 4 minutes of scene stuff. They're talking about potentially doing that. That's the rumor with the J.J. Abrams cut.
Yeah, I don't need that.
No one does. But
I don't need any of that.
The word is this. This is coming from what is it? What's the website on? SNTS, telling the stories others can't. And so the word is this. They say an extended version of The Rise of Skywalker will be announced in the coming week, releasing near the end of January, including 3 to 5 additional sequences fit into the narrative. This should bring the cut from up to 142 minutes to about 165. So it's about 10, 20 minutes more.
Well, speaking of it,
it's treated as an extended cut.
Speaking of Rise of Skywalker, it apparently it has been consecutively the top of the box office for the past couple of weeks. I guess since it's opened. I guess that's 3 weeks ago, and apparently this will probably be the last week that it is at that spot.
Do you know what's supposed to replace it?
I don't know what's coming because I don't know what's in the theaters right now. But it feels like it's a very short run at number one for a Star Wars franchise. But
it's going to make half as much money as Force Awakens.
Yeah, it may be. It's still $1 billion fucking dollars.
Still $1 billion.
That's still
exactly.
like this. It's still.
But it says
at the end
something.
of the day, this is still a commercial success for Lucas, for Disney. They made their money back. So maybe not the times over that they had wanted, but this is a success for them.
Yeah.
I feel like the only film in the franchise that actually lost money was Solo. And we talked about the reasons for that being what it was. But at the end of the day, this is still a success for them. So I don't feel so bad. I can't. It made $1 billion.
You shouldn't feel bad.
No, I don't. All that to say is Star Wars will be fucking fine.
I'm not worried about Star Wars.
Star Wars will be fine.
When I talk about any of this stuff, the money side of things, I never worry about it. I think what I'm looking to see is, are they learning from their mistakes?
No, they're why would they? If their property's still even in the jankiest,
you don't think somebody
rollout shape that they can make it in, people are going to watch these movies regardless.
But you don't think somebody back there is saying, why did we not make as much as Avengers Endgame?
Of course there is.
Why did we when the first movie made $2 billion? Why did we not make $2 billion for this? Why did we not make more? If you go back and look at Return of the Jedi, it everything increased with money. It made more than Empire Strikes Back. This is going down, and it's not. And there's no signs that it's coming back up.
Honestly, I think that's has a lot to do with the age of this property and how many people know it. Because, in my opinion, the problem with the franchise is not necessarily just the product, but it's the fan base. It's the fandom. That's I think at the core of what's the problem with Star Wars is the fanship. Like fanships, like they once upon a time fans used to just have this love of what was being created, and I feel like it's less about the love of it and more about the prescription or what the because it's of its age and because it's been with us so long, we all have opinions and we all have thoughts and we all have and ideas of how or why or where we think it should go. And while some of us are interesting and creative people, that doesn't necessarily say that we're right. Because at the end of the day, I've enjoyed this prequel. I've enjoyed this prequel more than I enjoyed the ones that came before it. Which were
really?
A sequel, I guess. The prequel.
You enjoy the sequel? You think the sequels are better than the prequels?
If we're judging them on thirds, I'd have to put the first three were the best. Clearly,
OG.
These came in at a really okay second, and the prequels were all of them can be just parenthetically just right there at that last third, and I'm okay. I'm perfectly okay with that being what it is.
I'm okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I want them to be better, though.
I think we all want them to be better, but at the end of the day, even if they're not better, they're still enjoyable. They're still fun to be had. They're still entertaining. Sure. You know, they're like while I have issues with a lot of it, I can still sit down and be like, I still enjoy this property. Space wizards and space warlocks are still fucking fun and entertaining to me.
But all that is to say, why can't you guys just make slightly more competent script choices?
Well, based on trying to please every single 30-year-old, 40-year-old, 50-year-old, 60-year-old fan.
I don't think it's that at all, though.
I think it is. I think that's
an element of it, sure, but I don't think that's where their mistakes are.
Oh, well, their mistakes are not taking what has already been established and using that.
Exactly.
That's basically their mistake.
Because according to Kathleen Kennedy, we don't really have like a Marvel or a back history of those things. Right? And what are you talking about?
How old is she? She's probably our age, right?
She's probably older than us. I think she's about a couple years older than us.
A couple years.
5 to 10.
Maybe 5?
Yeah.
But not more than 10.
She looks like she's in her 50s.
Word?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I'll Google her.
Anyway.
Let's find out.
I'm
not going to age shame.
What did 007's No Time to Die just do that they've never done in the 50, almost 60 years that they've been a franchise?
They've shown the villains bare buttocks.
What? No. What?
No.
What? No.
What have they done?
Well, they swapped.
I'll keep guessing.
No, that's fine. I think that first one was telling
enough.
Hold on. No, it's
I'll
fine.
get it next time.
No. I think I'll just give you the answer. I don't know.
Bond orders a pina colada instead of a martini.
Holy crap. All right. No.
Frozen.
They swapped composers during the post-production for the first time in franchise history.
It's okay. All right.
You know, that's not a big thing to you. Like so much of Bond is wrapped up in that like classic bad. Like I don't know. I feel like
they're not changing that. They're not getting rid of the Bond theme.
The theme, but no, the guy who's writing like the interspersing music between the scenes, they've never done this before. I think it's telling that in almost 6 years of making this franchise, like they've never switched composers.
Sure. I mean, who knows? Maybe the guy was like a drunk or something.
Hans Zimmerman.
That's who they're replacing?
Yeah. Well, that's who.
He's
sources told Variety that Eon
man.
Productions have hired Oscar-winning composer Hans Zimmer, The Lion King, Gladiator, Blade Runner, to take over the following departure of Dan Romer. According to the report, Romer and Eon had creative difference. This is another creative differences leave. Wow. Okay. The No Time to Die director and Roma, blah, 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 blah. They previously worked together on Fukanagi's Beast of No Nation and Maniac. Variety reports that Zimmer may not be working on the No Time to Die music alone due to the very short turnaround.
Yeah, he just sounds like he's overworked. I mean, Hans Zimmer's got to be old. By the way, Kathleen Kennedy is 67.
Hans Zimmer's the guy that they're bringing in to replace this guy. Dan Romer's the guy that they're replacing.
Okay.
Which is
okay. Well, so they're bringing Hans Zimmer. Hans Zimmer's like the shit.
Okay,
man.
wait, no, this is what's interesting about this.
Gosh,
What
you don't know
no. This is what's interesting about it. They're saying that Romer is leaving because he and Eon Productions, which is Zimmer's production company, had creative differences. So it sounds to me like
creative difference.
It sounds to me like my man had already did the work, and then they in post brought Hans in to be like, this isn't great. Do some shit, and he was like, "What the fuck? Well, if y'all bringing him in, just have him do it." And that's what it sounds like to me.
And him and Steven Derrickson from Doctor Strange are like, "Fuck it, we'll make our own movies."
See, so like, I think that it's interesting. It's interesting. I don't know. Maybe
It is. You always want to know what these creative differences are.
Well,
and it's funny how like Hollywood likes to keep hold of this stuff and kind of like they don't like to admit what that reason is. You know, they don't want to slander anybody. Nobody wants to talk bad about anybody. But there's something going on under the scenes here for sure.
It's weird that like this, but this is happening after the fact. Like, I mean, they hire you after the movie's shot to basically go in and put orchestral arrangements in under the different scenes. And you've had this recipe going on for 50 years or so, almost 60 years, and then it comes to this moment, you're like, ooh, yeah, now we're gonna hire somebody outside of this to come clean this shit up because this isn't what we were. I don't know.
Yeah,
it seems a lot. Seems like a lot.
So that's coming out in April.
Yeah,
April 2nd in the United Kingdom, April 10th in the United States. That's weird to me.
No, why? It's their property. They should get it first.
Like, why does
Bond belongs to them.
Why in 2020 does anybody get anything first when you can just literally send it in an email and be like, "Here you go." Oh, but not that version of Cats. This version of Cats.
Because I feel like when you're dealing with a property that is almost 60 years old, that is 25th anniversary type shit, they're gonna want to premiere it, in the place that it's based from, where we don't get without England, with the UK, we don't have a James Bond franchise. So they've got to give it. It has to have a little bit more. It'd be like basically if like we did a Captain America movie and we got it first and then we shipped it out to the UK.
It's shitty to me.
That shit. Fuck you. It's Captain America. We get him first. We get him first.
It's a small planet, man.
We get first.
We get first. I'm your host, Lawrence Dial.
And I'm your boy, Rob Carmen Robinson.
That's a very sudden ending.
Yeah, well, I guess we're done now.
We're done here.
I guess we're done here.
You can send us an email at whatweinto@gmail.com and give us your thoughts on all of this.
I mean, I did have a few more things, but
we got to move on. We got limited time here. We also have a What We Into Facebook page. We have a Patreon. You can throw us $1.com. What We Into patreon.com/whatweinto. I just want to say thank you to you, my co-host.
Oh, do you?
I do.
Well, okay.
I enjoy this. I'm having a very good time.
Okay.
I love doing it. It's our second year.
Second year. All right.
I know we pat ourselves on the back a lot. But I would like to pat you on the back.
I mean, I think we deserve a little pat.
Yeah. All right. Check with us back. We got Knives Out review. What else you got? What did you watch?
I saw Jojo Rabbit.
Jojo Rabbit.
I saw Jojo Rabbit and a bunch of Dragonheart and a bunch of other shit.
Yeah. So Knives Out and Jojo Rabbit coming up in our next episode. Whatweinto@gmail.com. Lawrence Style. Peace.
All right. Just hit stop right there.
Later, haters.